Yeah, we're live now.
Okay.
Hi everyone, George Farmer here. I'm here with Dave Pearce, owner of Aquarium Gardens, and we're going to talk about this little aquascape here.
Yeah.
So do you want to just tell the viewers, I'm just going to check my iPad, we're live streaming, so I'm just going to connect. If you just have a little chat to the viewers about what we're doing.
Basically what we're doing today, we've actually had a bit of a rescape on this tank here. So originally in there was actually a few different plants, and George has actually come in today and spent a little time rearranging. We pulled out some old plants that weren't doing so well in this scape, and we've actually replaced those plants with the pathway down the centre of the aquascape, and we've used some more fossilised woodstone, and that's what George has been doing today basically. So I think it's been a pretty successful day, and it's turned out really well. It's changed the whole look of the tank really.
Yeah, so bit of background, did you explain what went wrong?
What went wrong originally was we were growing some Algae repins along the front here, and also some Marsilia crenata at the front here, and it wasn't doing very well at all. We had lots of diatoms, lots of brown algae on the plants. It was really making the whole tank suffer really.
It looked awful basically. So the hair grass at the back, the Eleocharis, looked great, but we had Hemianthus cuba, we had Marsilia, we had Staragine, and they were just basically covered in algae. So I ripped it all out, I ripped out a load of soil, replaced it with an inert denolay product, like a quartz gravel with like an orangey brown colour, and then I smashed up a load of rocks, basically to make small rocks, and made a little bit more detail to create this pathway. So the overall effect is what we call diorama. It's trying to transfer an actual landscape scene into the aquarium, and to help achieve a greater sense of depth from front to back, we deliberately use large stones in the front, and then we go to smaller stones in the back, and that gives you the optical illusion actually, the aquascape is a lot deeper than it really is. So I'm just going to look at the comments, guys. Thanks for joining everyone. So we've got quite a few guys watching. I can see all your comments here, so please do use this as an opportunity for a question and answer session. So Everline, hello. Arash, hello. Leggett, hi Ryan. H2O Plants, hello. Zake, Drip and Vape, Adrian's Aquatics, Arash. Thank you very much for joining everyone, really appreciate it. Michael, hello, and Megan, hi. So I swear if this live stream is about his new uniform, I'm boycotting his channel. No, it's not about my new uniform. Joseph Costa, hello Joseph, thanks for joining. So hope you like the scape. I'm not sure, it looks quite good quality on the live stream I'm seeing. We could take the camera up a bit later on, we'll get you a bit of a close up. Everline asks, don't you get problems with the 2 layers of substrate? Potentially yes. What happens is the soil is not as dense as the quartz gravel. So what can happen is this will try to make its way up, but we've capped it with quite a lot. So it's about 2/3 gravel and 1/3 soil. So I'm hoping that the weight of the gravel on top of the soil will prevent this from trying to get up too much. If it does, we can simply siphon off the loose soil. It comes off really easy and leaves the gravel behind because it isn't as heavy. And we can just, if we need to, we can just top up with some new gravel, no problem. So it is a little bit of a risk, but we should be able to mitigate it. Hi Paul, it's Paul Sandbrook.
Hi Paul.
He says, hi Dave, hi George.
Hi Paul.
McGoads, hey George, loving all the knowledge you share. These vids are great. Thank you very much. It's a real privilege to be able to share my passion with you all like this. It's great, isn't it, these live streams, because you really get a good opportunity to engage with the audience.
There's no script or anything, so it's really as it comes.
So I'm actually not a really big fan of diorama. I think they're a little bit contrived. I'm more of a fan of the classic kind of nature aquarium style, but it's good to stretch yourself. It's good to step out of your comfort zone and try something that you might not necessarily try if you had if you just wanted to stay in your comfort zone. It's really good to step out of your comfort zone, try something new, you learn something, and you never know, you might really enjoy it, and it just expands your knowledge, expands your hobby. Adrian's Aquatic. H2O plants. Oh, we've got loads of questions. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Everline, nice stones. What type are they?
These stones are fossilised wood stones. Yeah, so they're great. They've got lots of colours in them: blacks, oranges, browns. The real range of colours. Lovely detail in the rocks as well.
Textures.
Yeah, lots of textures. Yeah.
How much are they, Dave?
£3.99 per kilo. Yeah.
So about £4 a kilo.
Yeah.
Do you ship worldwide?
Not. Yeah, we ship worldwide, but the rocks are quite heavy, so it can be a little bit tricky with the rocks. But certainly to the UK, we ship all the rocks.
Yeah. And it is a physical store. It's not just an online store, so you can visit us. Aquarium Gardens in Huntingdon in Cambridgeshire, UK, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Yeah, you can come in and we've got a dry sand pit, so you can actually, if you want to create a layout with the rocks or your hardscape, we've got a dry sand pit for you to do that. So it's great, useful.
So hi from Austria. Hello, Michael. Joseph, what is the light period on that tank? 8 hours.
8 hours, yeah.
Yeah, all our tanks are 8 hours pretty much, aren't they?
Yeah, it's pretty standard, yeah.
Yeah. Drip and Vape. George, you mentioned the tank had a lot of algae. Don't you think there's too much light for such a small tank? No, not really. We've got good CO2 injection. We're dosing liquid fertilisers every day. There's good circulation levels. So the light is quite strong, but we've compensated for that. We've balanced that out with, like I said, the CO2, etc. I think there was an issue with the circulation pattern, and it was actually kicking up very, very gradually, kicking up a little bit of the soil, which we didn't really notice. And I think that just disturbed the soil enough just to kind of encourage this maybe some leaching of excess nutrients from the soil onto the plants, and that's why the plants were getting algae. That's my personal, but it's a bit of a mystery really. But I think it looks better without the plants anyway. I like
it's massively improved the whole scape.
H2O plants. What's this plant food I've been seeing on Facebook? So my brand, the Aquascape, in conjunction with Evolution Aqua, we're producing our own liquid fertiliser. So we'll be doing another video on that separately. It's not released yet. It's just a little bit of a teaser. It will be coming out very soon. It's manufactured in the UK in our factory at Evolution Aqua. I've been testing it out for the last 12 months. It's a great all-in-one product, all the nutrients you need in an ideal ratio in one handy bottle. So that's all I say on it at the moment. But yeah, there'll be a video and a big kind of public release of the fertiliser soon. So please be patient. Adrian's Aquatics, how many tanks do you have in the shop?
6 tanks at the moment.
So 6 display tanks, and then we've got loads of hydroponic setups and a submerged plant tank as well. And we're going to get a big tank in here soon, aren't we?
Yeah, it's going to be a 1200 in here very soon. So 4-foot aquarium. So
Aquascape of 1200.
Yeah. Most of the tanks in here are all around about 2 foot or smaller. So
yeah, it'd be nice to get a big one.
A welcome addition. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to have a bit of rearrange. So okay, Paul Sandbrook. George, can you please advise? My scape is 2 months old now, and I've noticed increased amount of BBA. How do I get rid of it? PS, I'm not overfeeding. LOL. BBA really common, especially in wood setups. I think the wood kind of decomposes, leaches organics, which BBA tends to be attracted to. That's my personal experience. To get rid of it, you need to address the cause to start with. So a lot of anecdotal evidence suggests fluctuating CO2 levels. Let's assume that all your you know what you're doing, Paul. We kind of trained you here, didn't we? Kind of gave him some advice and got all the right kit. So I know that you're probably doing everything that you should be doing. So I would say probably best just to kind of treat the algae itself. I like to spot dose or literally paint liquid carbon fertiliser onto the BBA itself. So drain the tank down to expose all the BBA, even if it's on the plant leaf. Get a little cap from a bottle, fill it up with your liquid carbon fertiliser, get a small paintbrush which hasn't been used for anything else, and then literally paint the BBA with the liquid carbon and it will nuke it. It will die within 48 hours or so. If you've got shrimp, they'll probably eat the dead BBA.
Yeah, I've just done that recently actually on some BBA and it worked a treat. So.
Yeah. Here we go. So, lots of questions. Hi Dave, hi George, hi Tawny. shots. Adrian's quite step on my list. Ricky, how do you rate the twin star light? Really, really good. Really bright. It's not controllable, which is probably the only downside. It would not be nice if it was dimmable.
Yeah.
But the colour rendition is fantastic, as you can see. The unit itself is aesthetically appealing. It suits most modern sort of open top style tanks, and we really like it, don't we?
Yeah, it's very minimal. So, you know, I love the acrylic side panels there. Seamlessly fits in with the braces tanks.
Yeah, we really like them, and they're quite reasonable. About £100 for a small one, all the way up to 160 odd.
Range between £100 and £200 basically, depending on the size.
So quite good value. How do I get rid of Cladophora algae? Probably manually remove as much as you can, and just keep an eye. Make sure you're well maintaining the tank. Make sure your CO2 levels are good. If you're using CO2, dose a good quality liquid fertiliser. Basically, all algae can be prevented if you look after the plants as best you can. So that's appropriate light, not too much, not too little. Good CO2 in circulation if you're using CO2. Plenty of water changes. Clean filters. Dirty filters will tend to trigger algae. Not overfeeding your fish, but given obviously you need to look after your fish, so don't underfeed either. Not too many fish. Not too much light in terms of photo period and or intensity. But basically, yeah, buy healthy plants. Pack the tank full of healthy plants. New tanks are really prone to algae, so pack them full of really fast growing plants, stem plants, floating plants are really good. And then just really, really look after your plants. Give them lots of liquid fertilisers every day if you can. CO2 injection, good circulation levels, good lighting, good maintenance schedules, and then hopefully you will never get algae. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Pretty much it, yeah.
It's like the five sort of golden rules, really. If you follow those, you should never get. To treat Cladophora, manually remove as much as possible. Again, you could spot those with liquid carbon fertiliser. There's some algae eaters which will eat it. Amano shrimp are pretty good at most hair algae types. So there's a few tips for you there. Hi. Oh, we've got Yuri's. Hi Yuri's, good to see you, mate. Do you find that too much flow can affect plant growth? One side of my tank gets more flow, and although my rotalas flourish on the other side of the tank, they struggle a bit there. Definitely, yes, because if you think if the plant's literally being blown over, you know, too much turbulence is actually mechanically retarding the plant, if you like. It's being physically limited, then it's going to suffer. So what I like to do is use a lily pipe or a spray bar perhaps, and get that all-round circulation. So you've got plenty of circulation, but not necessarily a lot of flow, if that makes sense. So I always like to use the 10 times turnover rule. Yeah. So if you've got that 100 litre aquarium or a 34 gallon aquarium, then use a 1,000 per litre hour external filter or a 340 gallon per hour external filter. But yeah, too much flow will, especially if it's blowing that plant significantly, it will suffer. George, what happened to your biceps? Yeah, back on the training now. Actually, I was a bit lazy, a bit busy actually with work. So thanks for that. Hoping to see you guys soon, says Adrian's. Hi, Aquatips, Yuri's, all good. Enjoying George at his best. Nigel Aquascaping, did you ever make a forest scape with tons of spider wood like ILPC winners? If not, why not? No, not tons of spider wood, because I find it really tricky to work with and maintain long term. And you know, as much as I respect the ILPC winners, they generally have one tank to think about for 12 months, and that's all they focus on. I make a living out of aquascaping, so I set up tanks, you know, every week or so. I have home tanks to look after, and so I can't dedicate a lot of my time to maintaining that one tank to make a winning aquascape. So that's probably a good enough reason. How do you get rid of dusk algae on stones? What's dust algae? Oh, green dust algae.
Green dust algae?
Yeah, probably Ottocyclus maybe. Take the stones out, bleach them, or give them a good scrub, or even scrub them in the tank. But make sure you do a big water change afterwards.
Yeah, follow up with a large water change.
Always, yeah, always follow up with a big water change. You can answer a few now. Yeah.
That's if I can.
No amino shrimp in Australia. That's a shame. Crossocyclus siamensis, Siamese algae eaters are quite good for bigger tanks for hair algae. Have you ever had mini paleo melt? I recently purchased some from a friend and it melted after a day or so. It should be noted that the temperature went up quite a bit. Dave, do you want to answer that?
Temperature could quite possibly affect it if it's really high. I know with a lot of mosses and things like that, it can be it could affect it. But I think the main thing is probably CO2 with Ricardia and light in particular. It's I tend to, with my Ricardia when I've grown it before, has always been quite close to the surface of the water, close to the light.
Yeah, it goes really compact.
In direct. In front of the CO2, so when CO2 bubbles are rolling over the Ricardia as well, I find that really helps that particular plant as well. But
yeah, cool.
I think that.
Yeah. So definitely temperature related, I'd say. Paul says can't wait to see the 1200. Yes, I'm actually taking my 1200 from home and bringing it in because I spend so much time here, and I have 2 or 3 other aquariums I aim to maintain. I thought it would be a good idea to show it off here. What's the substrate in the tank? This is Nano scaper soil underneath and at the sides to grow the plants, and this is
it's a brown quartz.
Stenole as well.
Yeah, Stenole as well. It's
Yeah.
brown quartz gravel. Yeah.
Yuri says I find Clitterton snails the best algae against GDA. Yeah, we call them nearite snails over here. Yeah. Adrian's Aquatics, what would you guys recommend for a proper old school Amano style concave layout, Redmore or Manzanita? Which will last longer in the tank? They both last years. Manzanita is a bit softer than Redmore, but it would last a good few years. But I'd recommend Manzanita for that old school look personally. I prefer Manzanita to Redmore, that's just my taste. John Metcalf, hey guys, hi John. Jay Stribel, how do you keep Boost algae free? I always have BBA or hair algae build up. Basically keep it shaded is a good idea.
I find that a lot of Anubias and Boost Philandra, if they are shaded, for example underneath a fern or something else, they do much better. And the leaves will be much cleaner as well.
Yeah, they seem to get a nice colour. They just seem healthier in shade, don't they? I think.
Yeah, the powerful light. If they're supercharged with the light, they're almost wanting to grow quicker, but they can't, and then algae gets on them. So.
Yuri's PS, show support to George and share the stream on Facebook. Thanks, Yuri's. Can I actually share on Facebook from here? I think I can. Have you ever used JBL Manado? Yes, I don't like it. It's too floaty, and I don't think there's any nutrients in it either. I've used the ProScape soil, which is very good. I love fish, thank you, so do I. You have the Boost shaded as well. Okay, it might be a circulation issue then. Basically, if a plant gets covered in algae, it's not thriving, because a thriving plant has the ability to fight off algae, basically. I'm not sure of the chemical or biological effect, but I'm pretty sure they produce some sort of like aleochemical which fights algae off.
Yeah. So
I would say that your Boost isn't healthy. So either you need to ensure that you've got a healthy specimen to start with. So I'm going to go off on a tangent a bit here. Boost Philandra, a lot of the Boost Philandra in the hobby is still wild collected. It comes from Borneo, and it's well collected, and I don't think much respect's given to its natural habitat. So that's a side point. It's obviously transported. It's probably been growing in either submersed or immersed state, but not in a nursery or a greenhouse where it's been particularly well cared for. You know, so it's going to be packed. It's going to be sent off to a supplier, a shop that sells this wild caught Boost Philandra, and the shop might keep it in their own setup, and you know they might look after it well or they might not. But by the time it gets to you, you know, it's flown thousands of miles. It's been, you know, handled by 2 or 3 different agents, and the environmental impact aside, it's probably not going to be the best quality plant. And you know, Dave's experienced it himself, haven't he? You've got rare Bucephalandra from, you know, a supplier which he's had it imported, you know, from Asia, from Borneo, and it's really expensive, and it's not a good specimen. It's literally 1 or 2 plants attached to a rock with an elastic band or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the particular ones I had, they came looking, they look great, but they don't adapt as well either.
Do they? No.
Yeah, they don't adapt to it.
You know, I would always encourage people when they buy Bucephalandra, it's actually pronounced Bucephalandra, not Bucephalandra. I'd always recommend buying Bucephalandra from a well-known nursery. So Tropica, Denelay, Aquaflora, Aquadip, Aquafleur. You know, loads of European nurseries now grow their Bucephalandra in the nurseries from tissue culture originally, so they have no impact at all on the you know, the environment in Borneo, and you're going to be guaranteed a much healthier specimen. It's going to be more adaptable. They're all grown either tissue culture and then grown on again via hydroponics. So the plant itself is going to have a massive nutrient store. Because it's been grown emerged, it's going to have much better adaptability to your water chemistry. So yeah, I would encourage, go back to the original point, make sure your plant's healthy and then look after it, and hopefully it'll be fine. Hi Tim, thanks for joining. Got loads of questions here. What time are we on? 20 past, okay. Nigel, Aquascaping, can you reuse ADA aquasoil if you plan to do a rescape? For example, if the soil is less than 1 year old. Yes, is the simple answer to that. Adrian's Aquatics, what about Denelay Scaper soil? Yes, very good product. I'm using it at the moment. Do I believe in mermaids? No. What NMP tests do you guys use? We don't. We dose our tanks every day with an NPK produced fertiliser, and we do big water changes every week, and that means we don't need to test our water. Basically, it's called the estimate of index sort of principle, although we use a liquid fertiliser. Is Seachem fluorite similar to gravel? Yes, although I think it does contain sort of trace elements. Okay, I'm just going to remove this.
It's always one.
Yeah. Eveline, have to go. Daughter is going to sleep. All right, thanks for joining. Good night to your daughter. Button polyps. Is it okay to cut a Nubius rhizome to stop it spreading any further in the aquascape? Definitely. And then that's a way of propagating it. So that new cutting, if you like, is a new plant, and you can use that in another tank, or put it elsewhere in your tank, or give it to a friend or whatever. Hi Tim, thanks for joining. Abby next. Hi there. How should I trim bulbitis? My bulbitis is melting after some trimming, but I'm not sure it can be the reason. I would just get some sharp scissors and trim it at the rhizome. That's the fleshy part where the leaf's coming from. Remove that, then either discard that responsibly, or you can propagate it again, grow it somewhere else. Leaving apart ADA soil, which do you recommend? The big 3 I've been using lately, Denelay, Tropica and JBL. They're all very similar. Not massively nutrient rich like ADA Aquasoil, but a good product, easy to handle, grow plants well. So yes. Abby next, second question. Should I change maintenance somehow in summer? My water temperature is almost 30 degrees C now. Thanks. Yeah, warm temperatures can be a little bit of a drama for plants. Basically, plants want to go quick. The warmer the temperature, the quicker plants want to grow. The quicker fish metabolise, everything happens more quickly the more temperature you have, the higher the temperature. And 30 degrees is really warm, and plants start to really kind of suffer. So you can either get a chiller, so actually your tank water is going through a fridge basically to cool the water down, but they can be expensive.
Yeah.
You can air condition your room to actually bring down your environmental temperature, And there's other things. You can have a fan constantly blowing on your tank surface if it's an open top tank. I think then they actually produce for nano tanks a little fan that just sits on the side and blows the surface. That will keep the tank water down a bit. You can even float bottles of water which are frozen, and that will help bring the water temperature down. There's a few things you can do. And a Google search will probably throw up a lot more ideas as well. Hi Priven, Kosota, when you have a problem with your aquarium, you do a large water change. How do you prevent drastic water parameter oscillation? I ask this because I have a low KH and CO2 injection drops my pH. That's a really good question and quite technical, but I'm going to answer it in a really easy way. I don't worry about it. A large water change is normally going to be absolutely fine in the vast majority of aquariums, even if you've got a really low KH. The reason for that is probably your supply water's got a low KH, and so there might be a little bit of a pH swing there, but it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, you could test your water pH, your aquarium water pH and your tap water pH. If it's over 1, then I'd probably just do a few smaller water changes one after the other, just to get that so there's not a pH too much of a swing. But in nature, you know, there's some lakes which have got aquatic plants in. The pH will actually swing from about pH 6 to pH 9. So that's an increase and a decrease in 3 degrees of pH, which is a lot. And so I think, you know, a lot of emphasis is put on keeping water parameters stable, but actually in nature they're not actually that stable in freshwater systems. They're much more stable in marine systems, but that's another topic. So my advice is try not to worry too much. Hi Akara, hi George, great to see you again, thank you. Hello George, what kind of substrate can you recommend for a planter tank where the substrate is the top layer, so no gravel or sand on top? Just the soil, yeah, like do you want to grab a bag of Tropical soil, we've got Aquascape soil, Oliver Knott soil, they're all very similar and they're really good. They might be a little bit more expensive than plain gravel, but it's an investment and it's going to be the best way to look after your plants. I have Anubias, Scorch, I have Anubias, but that rhizome section has no leaves. Can I cut that section off? Yes. Andrew C, thoughts on Aquaray Globing 1500 Ultimate LED? Yeah, very good. I've used them before and absolutely great results growing plants. Arash, is ADA Africana similar to JBL Manado? I don't think so. Same colour, but the ADA Africana has nutrients in it. We've just got another spammer. Sebastian, is okay if I'm setting up a new tank with Aquabasis Plus at the bottom and Manado on top? It's absolutely fine, but you will need to use some liquid fertiliser to keep those plants well fed, and just be careful that when you're filling your water, do it slowly because it's really quite loose Manado and actually can float, believe it or not, if you're not careful with it. Dun mowers, can you overfilter the water? Is 750 litres per hour too big for the 60 litre Scapers tank? That's absolutely fine.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's just over 10 times turnover, so that's absolutely fine. Moritz, what is the best 10 litre aquarium? Well, Danley do a Nano Cube.
I do a Nano Cube.
Can I go get one?
I'll get one.
Yeah. Harvey, how do you breed guppies? Just get a male and a female in a tank. Button polyps, does a substrate eventually expire? So all tanks eventually need stripping down and starting again. 10 litre aquarium, how much is that, Dave?
£25. So,
25 quid. So if you're UK based, you can get that.
Comes with a glass cover, not that you necessarily need that.
Quite cute actually, curved front. Yeah, so yeah, nice tank. What was the question? How about soil, substrate life? Soil will eventually kind of degrade into like a really sludgy mud substance. So in terms of its physical characteristic, it will degrade. But if you're dosing a liquid fertiliser, its nutrient content will basically last forever. It has a high cation exchange capacity, which means it obtains nutrients from the water and locks it into the soil, which feeds the roots. So yeah, it will last as long as you like it to, basically. George, what are your thoughts on LED lighting timers? Necessary or gimmicky add-on? Before I go to work, I'll put the light on and switch it off 6 to 8 hours. I always use a plug-in timer. I don't find it a gimmick. I just like to know that I've got a constant photo period every day when I'm not at home, and I don't need to think about putting the light on and off. We always recommend timers.
I'd recommend a digital one rather than a manual one, because the manual ones can actually fail. Yeah, I've had them fail before, so a digital one that won't fail is much better.
There you go, Moritz is going to get that. Let you know. Make sure you get it from Aquarium Gardens.
Great.
Arash, George, you do 50% water changes for all your tanks. Will this kill shrimp if I do large water changes? No, the shrimp seem to love the large water changes. They swim into the fresh water. Water changes are never a drama. People really worry about these big water changes, but they do more good than harm, trust me.
It's the most common thing that I say to customers coming through the store is, you know, what's your water change regime like? And a lot of people say, oh, 10 or 20%, and we recommend doing a lot more than that. So it's the biggest area that people need to start paying more attention to, I think.
Okay, right. Okay, last 5 minutes, guys. Any recommendations for digital timers? I think just did go to your supermarket.
B&Q.
Yeah, UK-based B&Q DIY store. Adrian's Aquatics, have to go. Nice to see you guys. Take care. Thanks for watching, mate. Sebastian, have you ever used my Crampton Monte Carlo? Can I keep it in an 80 litre tank with 20 watt floodlight just while I wait for a new LED light? Yes. I've grown Monte Carlo, Dave's grown it. Really easy carpeting plant, one of the easiest out there, and you'll definitely be able to grow it with a 20 watt floodlight. It doesn't need much light at all. Mark Farmer, hello Mr. Farmer from Mr. Farmer. That's my cousin Mark. Hello, how you doing? It's been about 33 years since I last saw you. So Mark's in New Zealand.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, it's my cousin. So how you
Mark.
doing, mate? Yeah. Alan Hellman, any suggestions for using regular light bulbs for lighting? If you mean fluorescent bulbs, absolutely fine. You can pretty much grow plants in any type of fluorescent lighting. Plants really aren't fussy. You can use almost any type of light you want as long as there's enough light there. Have you ever put loaches in your Aquascape tanks? Yes, I have dwarf chain loaches at home in my Aquascape 1200. They eat the snails, pest snails. I also like zebra loach, Botia striata, and that's about it. I've just used the dwarf chain loach, which is Botia the monkey, and yeah, Botia striata. Are there problems if I stack my soil too high? No, as long as you've got plant growth which produces oxygen, which will stop it from going stagnant. Awesome stream as always. Thanks George and Aquarium Gardens team. You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks George. Mark Farmer. I'm in Hereford actually, but maybe cousins. You never know. Oh, it's another Mark, not my cousin Mark.
Oh right.
So I have a cousin Mark, but there's another Mark there. So hello Mark. I thought you were my cousin. Arash, difference between crypt melt and crypt dying. Has my camera gone off?
Just make a noise, yeah.
Okay, just bear with me guys. Because it's very good for your back, boys.
Crush it.
Must be because it's going to be a bit of a. Oh, we're on low battery as well. Good time to.
Upside out then, yeah.
It's a good time to wrap it up. Okay, guys, just a couple more questions. My battery on my phone's running out, and it's time for us to go home. Difference between crypt melt and crypt dying. Crypt melt's usually when the crypt has a bit of a drama adjusting to new parameters, and crypt dying is probably just because it's not happy at all. Nicholas, hi guys from sunny Cyprus. George, love your videos. Have a Fluval Edge 46 litres. It is a pain aquascaping, but it looks amazing. Agreed. Arash, okay, nice chairs by the way. Yeah, no expense spared here.
living the dream.
There's actually only one chair in the shop, so we thought we'd slum it on these. How do you get Monte Carlo to stay down? Use tweezers. Philip, hi and good luck with the Utricularia graminifolia. Philip must have been on my Facebook or my Instagram. Katie Woods, best aquarium size, as big as you can afford. Happy Fish Guy, thanks for the great info. I think that's a good time to sign off.
Great.
Okay guys, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
Take care, all the best, keep on scaping.
Cheers. That really good on the camera on the iPad.
Yeah.
Escape.